Okay, this is a pretty good song to start out on. Flight of the Bumblebee is always a classic. Alright, so I'm doing another one of these because I want to practice, but I also want to do other things. I lost your VOD. Okay, cool. So first note here has nothing to do with gameplay or anything. I would put, even if it's just like a solid color, I would put something in the background of your stream here. Because I can't see where your gameplay ends. I can't see where your trackers begin. Like, it makes cropping this a nightmare. So it just put like your favorite light solid, like non-black solid color as a background, just so we can see like different borders. I have it cropped where I think all of your stuff is, but if I'm restreaming you, like it's gonna be a challenge. And like I'm gonna have to fix it on the fly, and that doesn't make restreamers happy. Anyway, if you don't care about restreaming, then yeah, whatever. I'm just nitpicking right now, but um, yeah, I would definitely put a color in the background to make sure. Also, your tracker has everything. There it is. Okay, so this is Kaz Boots. Yeah, there we go. I can read titles. Okay. Good immediate map check. However, these bush pickups. Okay, I like the immediate map check. Not a lot of people are going to do this. And I also like that you're actually taking the time to take the information down. Because spending an extra 6 or 7 seconds on this screen and getting the information right the first time is not going to lose you a race. I guarantee you will not lose a race to staying on the map screen for a few extra seconds. Because if it saves you from mapping again, then you have a net time save there. Alright. So you keep it up for a few seconds, which is good. You actually get the information, but picking up these bushes is slow. You have boots and a sword. I guess I should be a little more prepared here, but I also like to show myself selecting the file just so everybody knows I'm on the right thing. Okay, where was this again? Okay. I'm gonna give myself a sword. I'm gonna give myself boots, wherever they are. Okay. So you go and you get this item. I don't want to pick this up because it's the lamp, and that's gonna mess some stuff up. But yeah, you go out here. So when I'm dashing, I can actually cut bushes even though Link doesn't have his sword out. Now, I can't, like, you see me pressing the B button here. I'm not slashing, but I can still dash through bushes, alright? So this is the optimal way to do that screen. You don't need to try that hard. You just go down below the bushes and do something like this. This is pretty error-proof, and as you can see by the timer, it's not that much slower. It's about 10 frames, which is 1/6 of a second. But, like, for this, you kind of need to stop on a dime to not only prevent yourself from nudging the house, but also to prevent yourself from doing that. This, if you jump off here, that loses a full second. Whereas if you just come down here, you actually cut through this first bush, and then this actually fixes your position here so that you always jump off on the same spot. So I definitely recommend this path to everyone. Okay, this looks like open brain. But yeah, picking up that sign is incredibly slower than you know, dashing. You have boots. Use your boots. Yeah, tree pulls don't work in rain state. A lot of stuff doesn't work in rain state. Good stun price check. Speaking of rain state, I'm gonna switch this to a different preset so that we don't get the rain sounds. Okay. So here, you actually want to double spin this guy rather than slashing your sword 3 times. So slashing your sword, like, I'm recording this at 60 frames a second, so you can pull this into VLC player and take it frame by frame, and you can see like how long this sword cutscene actually is. And then doing that 3 times, that's just even longer. So when you don't have, you want to do the minimum amount of sword slashes that you need, which is just 1 for this. I'm gonna say this a lot. You have boots. Use your boots. Okay. Looks like okay. That's fine. Something I would do though. Um, oops. Hold on. So I don't have boots in this preset, but after you sneak through here, you're gonna be dashing through this door. So what I would do is just stab this guy and then slash him again. Um, so I know there my sword was charged as I came out of the door. That's not going to be the case when you have boots. When you do it with boots, your sword isn't going to be charged because you will have been dashing. You're not holding the sword button through that uh, door transition. Uh, so that means that basically your sword will start charging once the transition is done, and then you can just walk up, stab that guy, slash him. And when I say stab him, I mean keep your sword out until the game makes you put it away. Actually, so you'll be dashing through here. You can slash. You can just poke and slash him, and then move on to the next room. And then here you want to just tink your sword to get that guy to aggro to you, and then grab the key and go. Okay. I think your default plan should be to either 2-pot or 1-pot and 4-slash. Because getting him on the screen and then going all the way back for the pots, that's just slow. But if you just commit to that from the beginning, you can speed it up significantly. Okay, see, the second half is a lot better than the first half. First half, you just look lost. This you actually look like you have a plan. You don't actually have to push the bookcase that far, but I'm not going to nitpick that. So I don't know if it's because you just like weren't warmed up for the first half of Escape here, or you just genuinely don't know how to do it. But I'm gonna probably say 50-50 on both. Okay. Yeah, you can take that whole dash line all the way up to the door. Don't worry about rats getting in your way because they won't knock you out of your dash like 90% of the time. Something really weird has to happen for a rat to knock you out of a dash when you have a sword. Yeah, so 622 escape, that is not good. But again, that some of that could probably be attributed to you're not really warmed up or used to playing the game yet. Ooh, yeah, definitely always do bonk rocks here. Bonk rocks is Sphere Zero and Kaz boots. Yeah, see now you have to go all the way back for it. Just do it the first time. Do it the first time, and then after you do your lumberjack check, you go in the east side of the forest rather than I think you're just gonna go through the front now. Okay, good pickup. You can pick up stuff like red rupees early on, uh, but you'll stop picking them up very quickly. Like you already have merchant money, I would say it's probably not worth it to go after a red rupee if you see one. Like you'll get enough from chests that it won't really matter. Alright, fire rod. So that fire rod is indicating that there's something in Skullwoods, specifically in the back of Skullwoods. And the flippers make me want to do South Shore. The rupee count is a little but we'll try to get a lucky 300 in here. If we do get a 300, I'm gonna be looking to Houlihan. Uh, okay, so one of the fundamental things about speedrunning in general is that doing doing the same walk twice is not good. So so we just watched this, but you're gonna bomb this, and then you're gonna come all the way over here, and then you're gonna come all the way back and come up here, and then come all the way over here again. So you're treading this area 3 times when you only need to tread it once. See this? You're just bleeding time here. So you're doing 2 trips of this that are unnecessary. Okay, Bombos with Fire Rod doesn't really set off any alarms for me. Okay, so we have a sword and a cape. So we have the capability to get into Aga Tower. Keep it in mind if you see a lamp, you probably want to wait for Moon Pearl at least, but keep Aga 1 in mind because it's a lot more likely to be required in one well, in this seed it would be required for Dark World access only because we've seen what's on Lumberjack Ledge. Okay. So race game can be a lot of useful stuff at this point in the seed. I would just blind check it. Like if you had a flute, then maybe you could try to game the game, but I don't think there's any reason to not just blind check that. All right, we're going to the dam. That's fine as long as you pair it with a Gina. Otherwise, I would just leave it. So, what I would have done here. So let's back up to the decision point. So the decision point is here. You're always going to Link's house because all of the decisions that you have to make are there. So what are our options here? We can go Damagina, we can go South Shore and Flipper checks. we can turn in that mushroom, which is realistically what I would probably do, because that's an early sphere fetch quest. Or we can go to Sahashwa. So, so here I'm thinking, what is setting off my alarm bells? And here, let me put your tracker on screen. I think it's this. I wasn't going to put your tracker on screen because it was kind of hard to see and it's kind of small as well. But I need to make a point here, and it's easier with a cursor. Okay. So what do we have here? We have pause you. So we can go Dam to Agina. I like pairing these checks together. Maybe a Desert Ledge too, but I don't really like checking Desert Ledge unless like Desert is in logic. And since I have a Fire Rod and a Glove, I kind of just want to wait until I can enter Desert, because once I can enter it, I can beat it. So I'm not really interested what's on Desert Ledge right now, because if I find a book, I'm just beelining to Desert anyway. Uh, so Damagina. What's the plus side of Damagina? Well, you have to go to the dam at some point. Right now we're looking for money. Right? See, this is what I mean. I cut off like the top huge portion of your game there. Alright, cool. Alright. Covering your name. Cool. So, what could you also do? You could also just go to Saha. Realistically, I want to turn in this mushroom right away. Since it's after save and quit, you also just have the option to hard reset the mushroom. I don't really like doing that outside of Key Sanity because it's not. I don't know. It just seems to have diminishing returns in regular modes versus like when you start shuffling a bunch more items. Like it's worth it to you to just turn in the mushroom and not have to worry about like things like hard resetting or like how you deal with this and that. It's better for you to just find the powder and check it when it comes. Like, you don't need to spend the mental energy on something like resetting a mushroom. However, you do want to turn it in as soon as possible. So to do that, you would just come down here and you would go in this whirlpool right underneath the Dark World portal, and then you would just save and quit from there, and then do whatever you wanted to do past that. So what are we looking for? Well, we have the flippers. So I want to do South Shore, but I also want to do Zora. And the reason that we don't pair that with Mushroom is that this is actually not on the way to up here. So I want to do South Shore, but I have a money problem. Okay? What can solve that problem? Well, I need a 300 rupee drop, basically. We already found the 100. That was in CAC. So basically, it's 300 or bust. All right. And how do I maximize the chance that I'm going to find a 300? Well, you can either do Damagina. That will take some green squares off your map and get a long check out of the way early on in the seed. I'm more willing to do long checks early on in a seed versus like when I'm one from go. I don't want to be spending 53 seconds going all the way to Agina when I could have had it an hour ago, right? I want to go like 12 seconds check, 12 seconds check, something like that. And like I want a flurry of checks at the end of the game looking for my go mode rather than all of these isolated like long things to get to. So my sequence here, turn in mushroom, save and quit. I would go to Saha, and then if I find the 300 between mushroom and Saha, then I would go into Eastern, not only to look for Dark World access items, but also you would be able to get to the back of Eastern, and you would be able to get the 90 rupees in the back. Plus, it would give you additional opportunities to get Zora money. After Mushroom Saha and Eastern, I'm just YOLOing South Shore after that. Honestly, Damagina is a fine play. I'm just personally not interested in it right now. All right, so let's see what actually does end up happening. I know we go to the dam. A lot of people like to go dam to Mini Moldorm Cave and just isolate Agina, which I hate with a burning passion. I do not like ever isolating a check, and especially not one that could potentially have Dark World access, because then you end up just getting an auto time loss very early on in the seat. Yeah, I don't like this. Plus, you're pretty much locked into doing the rest of South Shore. What like you're sorry, the rest of South Shore is just all right. You're pretty much locked into going all the way to Zora at this point, and you don't have enough money. You have 241 here. So now you not only isolated Agina, you're gonna isolate Zora too. Okay, yeah. So you have a mirror, you have Pearl, you have Aghanim access. I don't like saving and quitting from there. You got to do your flipper checks. Like you have the flippers, it's all in logic. You're already there. This is the fastest that it's gonna get. Right now, you have to just hard bet that either Hobo, Waterfall Ferry, or Zora Ledge has a 300, and then you need to just leave Zora. Sometimes you just got to do that. I don't like putting myself in that position. That's why I would go to Mushroom Saha and Eastern first. But if that's your playstyle, then that's your playstyle, and I'm not going to tell you that it's wrong. Okay. This is. Oh, this is Houlihan? Okay. So, if you were going to do this, you needed to do it before going to Mini Moldorm Cave. Because now you have to retread all of this ground. Now you have to go all the way back. You need to do this screen again. You need to do. Okay, I guess that swim is a little bit shorter, but you're still not at 500 here, and you're not within 20 of 500 either. So if you were gonna do that, instead of saving and quitting from Ice Rod Cave, there's a big rock outside of Ice Rod Cave. Uh, if you were gonna Houlihan, I would have just farmed 40 rupees and then done the Houlihan like that. There you go, and there's your 300. So your Houlihan just wasted a bunch of time. So you need to commit to the plays that you make. It seems like you're trying to like dip your toes in and then like go try another pool and try another pool. You gotta go. You just gotta pick a pool and jump in. And some pools are deeper than others. Sometimes you get burned, and that's fine. That's rando. but committing to your plays and being confident that what you are doing is the best thing in your situation right now will make you go so much faster because you don't have that doubt. You are I believe, the ninth person that I've seen run up manual stairs. Do not dash up manual stairs. It is slow. Hmm. Very nice. I like that dash. Dash through the cannonballs. Um, it looks like it saves time. Oh, okay. Since you're not killing Armos, that dash saves time. But if you're in here to full clear, then okay, yeah. So that dash is only 10 frames faster than just walking through the cannonballs, and you're gonna lose that 10 frames on the recovery screen after the boss. You're gonna lose more than that actually. So it ends up being slower at the end. Now, you had no way of knowing that you were completing this. And you should complete it even though it's a pendant, because you can. Now, if you deduce that there is not an item on Armos and this is not green pendant, then sure, you can leave. But if there's an item on Armos, and then you need to go and get it, because it's in logic right now. Nice room. Man, I can tell you've practiced some rooms, and then other rooms you're just completely lost. Okay, you have a fire rod here. There's no reason to make this hard on yourself. Just light the torch. That is a good setup, and I'm glad that you executed it. But you have an easier option. You might as well do it. Okay, pay attention to your ammo count. You have 11 arrows, and you need 18 for Armos. These two pots both have 5 arrow drops. Okay. You need these pots because you need 6 arrows for the red Igors in the back, and then you need 18 uh, for Armos, and there's no guarantee that you're going to get arrow drops back here from enemies. So in order to potentially skip the pots in the double Igor room, you need to get these pots here. Plus, that just gives you more padding if you miss. I don't expect that you're going to miss 5 times, but okay, yeah. So you're lucky. They're in their vanilla prize pack. You're probably going to get to skip this anyway, Sag. All right. Okay. So the goal in the Armos fight is to never see the red guy. Because when the guy turns red, then he recovers all of his health. Oops. So that obviously wastes time because you need to do the damage that you already did to him. So if you're gonna do this bottom right setup, it's gonna start with 3 shots up. So 3 shots up, and then 2 to the left, and then 1 up. So 3, 2, and 1. So like that. The reason that you shoot this guy twice is that you want to get the third arrow in the second to last guy and the third arrow in the last guy in so close together that the game doesn't have time to turn the last guy red. All right. So the next step here, once you kill this guy, you want to hesitate a little bit, and then you want to put 2 arrows into the next guy above you. So then you want to catch these guys while they're spinning. Ta-da! Oh, come on. I shot too early. So even if you do something like that, obviously minus the damage here, even if you do something like that, it's going to be a lot faster than what you just did. Alright, now that's not the optimal kill, but this setup will work for both regular Armos and Ice Armos. So if you're interested in saving a little bit of mental energy until you're ready to learn something a little more advanced, then you can use that setup on both. Also, yes, this is the correct thing. Even though you know this is a pendant, it's correct to come back here and get this, because this could have Dark World progression. Okay. So for things that you have to save and quit from, especially, you need to have a plan for when you're entering the next room and for when you're exiting. So, like, during this cutscene, there's a whole fanfare shindig that's happening. You need to be thinking about, okay, what am I doing next? And the answer in the Eastern fanfare is always save and quit. Every single time you're going to save and quit from here, or you're going to flute away. But you don't have a flute, so the answer is save and quit. So, just in general, you need to be thinking about what's next. What am I doing next? Because if you're prepared, you gain control of Link right there. Well, about a tile before this, so let's call it 25-25. And then you don't save and quit till here, 25-30. So that's 5 seconds where you were just standing around. Taking those, or minimizing those times when you're standing doing nothing, is a big way to get fast, because you can spend those 5 seconds like actively going somewhere. Alright. Now, where are you going? Because Agina seems like a bad play, so this has to just be Mushroom, right? Okay. Let's go. Okay. Okay, so we're at Link's house, and we're exiting after a save and quit. In order to turn in the mushroom, you need to come down here and get into this whirlpool. Okay? Now, I don't have the flippers right now, so I'm going to show you an easy setup. You just bonk off of this statue, and then you jump in the water and transition the screen, and you can easily just fake flipper into here. Okay, and then that takes you here, which is a lot better than running this whole way. This is post-tag overworld. That guy's not normally there. There's normally a blue guard there, not a red guard. And then you turn in your thing. Okay, there's your dark world. Okay, now once again, you have control of Link here at 2629. You can just save and quit right now. But you walk outside, you come here, and now you save and quit. And that's another 6 seconds that you were standing around. Okay, so obviously there's only one portal we can go to. Alright, how brave are we? Okay, this is really, really good. I love this. Even though this looks like you're just sitting on the map screen forever, you're making sure that you never have to map twice, and you're making sure that you get all of the relevant information down before you close the map. I love that. Okay, going to Vu. Yeah, so even though your code is red, I'm pretty sure you're still on green mail. Yeah, your tracker says you're still on green mail. So, green mail 8 heart moth on a fighter sword, it's doable. I wouldn't recommend it, especially when you have a full Vu here that could have extra hearts or bottles with potions in them or stuff like that. Speaking of potions, oh, you don't have a hammer, but there's a house in Village of Outcasts with 2 hammer pegs outside of it. That sells red potions, and a lot of times when you're in Vu, you're gonna have the hammer. So just keep that in mind. Okay. So the thing that you did here in Thieves Town is actually good. It's actually a good thing. Um, but I want to show you some alternatives and why I would like you to do my thing rather than your thing. Okay. So we're here. We come and we get this chest. Alright. Now what? Well, some people are just gonna come down here, and they're gonna transition here. They're gonna transition here. And then they're once again gonna transition up here. That's slow as all heck. Because three screen transitions at 2.5 seconds apiece, that's 7.5 seconds that you could be doing better movement. Alright? So you did something like this. You just ran all the way around here, and you jumped off of here, and then you proceeded this way. Absolutely nothing wrong with this. This is fast, as long as this guy cooperates. As long as that guy doesn't get in your way, then there's nothing wrong with coming over here and jumping off here. But you can't always guarantee that that guy is not going to get in your way. Unless you jump off here, then you don't have to worry about that guy. So if you jump off there, dash up here, and then dash this way, you're dashing with your sword out, and even if that guy is in a position where he can hit you, the sword will knock him away. So that's the reason that I want you to do this over what you're doing, because then you don't need to worry about enemy RNG at all. You're in no danger of getting hit if you do something like this. Sometimes it's not always about what's faster, it's about what can you do more consistently. And if you If you have a faster strat that's RNG dependent, that is strictly worse than a slightly slower strat that you can do 100% of the time. Okay, be very, very, very careful when you're dashing through doors with the cape on. Because if you exit this door at the wrong point and you take the cape off at the wrong time, you're gonna get yourself stuck, and then you're gonna soft block your game, and you're gonna cry. All right, we don't want to cry. We want to kill a pig. Crying is not on the agenda, although it does happen from time to time. So if you can't do the Hellway without the cape, then I would turn the cape off as soon as you're clear of this anti-fairy. Turn your cape off and just walk through the door. Or keep your cape on and do what you do here, which is go at least a tile clear of the door. You have to be outside of door state for this to be safe. I don't like this because it puts me out of position for my next move, which is to go up here and grab the pot and hit the switch. But again, do what works for you. This is just my preference, and I'm not saying that one is better than the other. But if if you can, just don't use the cape in that room because it really does get sweaty. Speaking of sweaty, you were on Oko, but yeah, I don't know if you remembered the prize pack from back in Hyrule Castle, or you just got lucky that these are hearts. But but yeah, these grasshoppers are essentially they are rats, but they're in the same prize pack as rats. Very good. I like that strat. Stun the guy, throw the brick at him. Don't worry about it. Okay, so your small key. So here is the only bit of Thieves Town key logic that you need to know. So you have done 6 out of 8 checks and you have not found the small key. That means that the small key is locked in the big chest because blind cannot have the small key. So if the small key is locked in the big chest, that means that blind is logically hammer locked. So that means that blind can A, not hold the hammer, and B, cannot hold anything that is locking the hammer. So if blind gives you something like a book, then you know that the hammer is not on either of the tablets. If the small key is literally anywhere else, like if the small key is available, then uh then there's no logical implications at all. Okay, she gave you powder. So magic bat is not your hammer, which means that I would probably deprioritize the magic bat play because you can't pair it with hammer pegs at this point. So just something to keep in mind. It's a really simple thing, like, and it's the only thing that you need to know for that dungeon. Um, the other thing I was going to mention is I'm not going to insist that you learn the blind script, but let's just watch this at like half speed here. I'm not going to insist that you learn the blind script, but okay. So first of all, you can stand about. Essentially, you want to put your sword into the maiden's head. Um, And you probably want to back up a couple pixels, but just to be safe. But you can put your sword into the maiden's head and get a hit. But this is good. Okay, so you're spamming your slashes here. You actually like slashes and pokes do the same amount of damage to blind, regardless of sword level. And pokes actually let you control where Link gets bounced to a lot better. Because if you slash, then there's three directions that Link can go: there, and there. If you poke, there are three other directions that Link can go, but they're grouped a little tighter. So instead of spamming slashes here, I would just do a controlled movement. Poke, and then slash again to poke, and then slash again to poke again. Okay, so you kind of get knocked off script here, which is fine. But there's hit 6. And you're okay here. You're on 6 hearts and nothing in here does more than 2. So you're 3 hit KO right now, which is fine. You're doing pretty good at dodging. Yeah, you probably should have just taken damage from the fireball, because that does 1 heart versus the head's doing 2. But here you're still fine. You're 2 hit KO. And then you get hit by a fireball, and now you're at 3 hearts. Well, you're still at 2 hit KO. You're no different here than you were. You're no different at 3 hearts here than you were at 4 hearts. Okay? You don't need to bring your invincibility item out right now, and you're 1 hit away. So this, I'm not going to say it's wasting time because it allowed you to finish the fight. But I want to watch it from the time you activated Burna, because I'm pretty sure nothing hit you. So you would have had iframes, which would have allowed you to escape from this corner. And then from then on, nothing hit you. You could have just slashed her right here. All right. So this everything that happened here is due to comfort level. Okay? So you saw that you were at 2 hit KO. You took a hit and then you didn't recheck your health to see if you were still at 2 hit KO. You just heard yourself take a hit and then immediately swapped to Burna. Don't underestimate your own abilities. You could have finished this fight a lot quicker without the Burna activation. Now, also, don't overestimate your abilities. Don't go in there on Oko and say, "No, I'm fine. It was fine last time." No, definitely use your safeties, but if your safeties are like extending the boss fight by a million years, then you probably just need to believe a little more in yourself. Okay. Um Hammerless Smith Chain. I mean, at least you have the mirror, but you already know that the only place that hammer can be is on the smith, and you're gonna have to come back for hammer pegs. So I probably just skip this and go to Hype Cave. I'm also a huge fan of the Hype Cave rush if you have like AGA 1 access or MITS access, just because it's incredibly out of the way. and the game loves to make you go out of the way to do random dumb stuff. All right, I said that I would rush desert as soon as I got access to it, and that's exactly what you're doing, and I love it. It's clearable. It's a crystal. Go do it. I don't even care that you skipped a Gina here. Just go ahead and do it afterwards. And once again, do not dash upstairs. It's slow. Okay. Uh, I do like that you rush desert as your next play here. However, I since you have a mirror, I probably just clear out what's left over here. So you go to Stumpy, or you go to 45, go to Stumpy, go to Hype Cave, do Bombo's tablet, and then go into desert. Because now you have to go back to all of this, and if you don't find a hammer, you have to go the long way. Nice hook shot. All right, I take that hook shot to the mountain 100 times out of 100. All right, well there's your items. Okay, I'm not gonna harp too much on the missed fire rod shots. That's easily fixed by just doing stuff in the bracket, which I know for a fact that you are not against the prac hack because I saw you do it with Nio for 4 hours yesterday. Yeah, stuff like blind and stuff like missing fire rod shots on Lambo that can be solved with practice. But stuff like leaving all of this density over here, that's stuff that you have to fix in your brain. That's no matter how much you spend in the prac hack, leaving this stuff behind is not going to fix itself. Okay, it's the Skullwoods. Okay, good. Yeah. Okay. All right. So you were a little indecisive there. Pot, meat, kettle. Um, this just comes back to the just convince yourself that what you're doing is the best thing for you in the moment. And just when you decide to make a play, commit. You won't know if it's wrong until after the seed. I do like going back to front here because presumably you want to exit and do Smith uh, purple chests into all of that density that you skipped. And if that was your plan, then that is a 10,000 IQ play, and I apologize for any harsh comments I may have said about it before. So me personally, I'm just doing Skullwoods right away. I'm doing Skullwoods and then I'm doing Thieves Town and then I'm doing Smith Chain. But I understand that Moth sucks and that if you don't have an insane amount of practice with it, you were at, yeah, see, even with what, nine, yeah, even with 9 hearts and a blue potion you just died. So yeah, good call on dodging that because you definitely would have died before. Not necessarily, but I mean, you just died with a better sword and more health. So yeah. Okay. Okay. I thought you were exiting the dungeon, which is this is fine. Yeah. This is fine. You've already died to Moth once. Just get the items out of the dungeon. See if you can scrounge up another heart for yourself. Oh, I saw you try to do it. Okay. So the way to do that, it's pixel perfect. Like you have to be exactly on the grid to do that. I guess we'll do this one. And give me a hook shot. That's not a small key. Pretty sure there's a small key. Pretty sure this is a compass. I think this is a small key. Hey. Oh, I didn't even need a small key. Alright. Well, see, you're never going to remember everything. So there. So you need to be exactly like right here. The way that you line that up is the bottom of Link's shadow has to be lined up with the line of the block. So I am on the grid right now. I am not on the grid right now. Go away. There. And even if you mess up the lineup, just kind of tap a pixel, try it again, tap a pixel, try it again. You know, it doesn't waste a bunch of time to try it a couple times, and then if it doesn't work, just walk around. Yeah, I don't mind this. Just don't die, please. I wouldn't go for that. I don't think 300 rupees is worth it at this point. Because to make that 300 rupees worth it, you need to convert it into potions, and that is incredibly slow at this point because now you're going to need to run all the way back to Skullwoods to finish it. So there's a time to leave a dungeon, and then there's a time to bash your head against the wall. Because once you leave Skullwoods area here, like you just did, you're never going back. Well, you're going back to defeat the boss, and then that's it. And then that's just a strict time loss. So I think it's worth it to just bash your head against the wall and try to get lucky here. I think that will not only give you boss practice, but it will also, like, yeah, maybe you get lucky and get it on the second time. Okay. Decent play if you're behind, which you almost certainly are here. Yeah, now you're converting, you're making your rupee play worth it. I like it. Talk to the NPC though to fill your health. I guess you're looking at saving and quitting here, so it doesn't matter that much, but like you're two hit KO to Ropas, and there's no reason to even like the health refill is just so quick that there's no reason to even give them a chance to kill you. But yeah, decent play if you're behind here because nobody's ever going to catfish in this seed. Okay. Oh, we're climbing the mountain? Okay. All right. I got nothing. I got nothing against that. My only concern is that you're leaving all of this density. You're leaving one, two, three, and you're leaving 8 items just right here. And you can also spec equip clear swamp palace. So that's an additional 6 items. So you got 14 items here versus a bunch of out of logic mountain stuff. I would take I would take the in logic density over the mountain. And you might ask, oh, well, could that just be lamp and nothing else? And you would be correct. It could just be lamp and nothing else. In which case, you're getting ahead of the logic, and then this is a good play. But it could also be a flute, which you need to complete the game, which will give you access to Death Mountain and put all of this stuff in logic. Okay, very nice. Okay, nice boots, by the way. But if you have boots and hookshot, oh, let's do it from this spot. Okay, so if you have boots and hookshot, all you have to do is just fall down this hole, hookshot to the chest, and then heck, hookshot to the chest, and then after you pick it up, you just bonk off of it. I can tell you're not used to casual boots. You're used to open 7-7, and it shows. Um, it's not necessarily a bad thing, and I'm just remarking on something that I see. So yeah, just hook to the chest, bonk off of it, and then get this chest, and go kill a worm. Oh, there you go. Oh, you had a chance. So you had a chance to spin him. Right there, you had a chance to spin him. And then he wouldn't have knocked you off. Then he would just be dead. So practice that a little more. Experiment with how big the spin attack hitbox is in particular, because it is extremely generous, and there are even times that like you don't think that you're gonna get a hit and it registers. Okay, I don't care that you're falling a million times to Boulderm here. It's whatever. You had a chance to kill him the first time, and then you did get it eventually. Um, my question here is, why are you bashing your head against this wall and not against the moth wall? Because obviously you just did this to completion, and that's fine. But why not do that with moth? Because it takes a similarly long time to get all the way back to moth than it would to just leave and come back for Moldorm. This is why I'm saying sometimes bashing your head against the wall is just worth it. Nope. Go in the cave. Commit to your play. Very nice. Better than mine. I suck at that bomb jump, though. Yeah, you should always have your hook shot out here for this exact purpose. Also, if you miss with the hook shot, you only ever lose half a second. Or maybe it's a full second. 8 by 8 is 64, 16, 32. Yeah, you only ever lose half a second. 30 you only ever lose 32 frames if you miss with the hook shot. So don't be afraid to just go for it sometimes. Just don't miss multiple times or else it really adds up. Okay, bonking off of that skull is slower than just hook shotting. Because you have to run down underneath the skull anyway. And to charge so the hook shot will only ever take 16 frames to get to its destination versus versus the boots, which take 30 frames to charge a dash. And then you have a 70 frame bonk animation where you can't control Link during that whole thing. So even though it looks cool to bonk over, and sometimes it can be required, but if you have the hook shot, it's faster. It's just hook shot. Kill Moth first. I like the ped check, and I like where your head is, but kill Moth first. And the reason for that is when you get spit out of Skull Woods, you get spit out right here on this pixel. Now, you might see something underneath my mirror here that's lit up, and it says QW. That stands for Quick Warp. So, every 8 pixels, there's a 2 pixel window in which Link gets a Quick Warp. That means that the mirror animation takes 34 frames fewer than it normally does. So you save almost half a second by getting Quick Warp. And this one is absolutely free. Every single time you will get this Quick Warp when the game drops you off out after killing Moth. And you've already gone all the way here, so there's no way that you're not killing Moth. Right? Yeah, right. Cool. So the game drops you on a Quick Warp pixel right there, and that's where you should check your pedestal. And then you take the warp, and then you come, and then you run back through. Do the bat. Oh, you did the bat. Never mind. Okay. Should make your more use of the hook shot because you can't dash. Your second best option is to just use hook shot, and actually, hook shot is faster than dashing. As long as the spot that you're going to is within the hook shot's range and doesn't put you in a worse position than dashing would. Nice lamp. Yeah, I get hecked, bird. Alright, now we're finally going to Hype Cave. So an hour and 10 minutes in, we're getting a 5-item cave. This is not good. You need to prioritize your 5-item caves more. You should have all of your 5-item caves by about 45 minutes. Yes, you had MITS access. Yes, it sucks to get to. Oh, no. Swamp's a crystal. Just specky into it. Yes, your hammer's not there, but who cares? It's a crystal. You can do it. Alright. Specky clip. In case you don't know it, oops. Specky clip's really easy. So you just get to here. Oh no, I don't have a key. I can't open this door. Well, there is a key over in that room, but there is also a way to get through this barrier. Line yourself up against this rail, and then face down, and you're going to place a bomb here. And then you have to do the second part all while the bomb is on the screen. All right? So the second part is that you run over here, line up against this pipe, slash your sword, and then when the bomb explodes, you back into the explosion. All right, one more time. Line up here, face down, place the bomb, and then run over here, line up here, slash your sword, and then when the bomb explodes, back into the explosion. All right. So live, it'll look something like this. All right. So I am clipped 1 pixel into this barrier right now. All right. And that gives me just enough room to avoid the collision so that I can hook to that statue and I can get through. Who needs a hammer anyway? And now you can clear all of Swamp Palace without the hammer. Now, hammer can't be in here, but other things will be. Like your Samaria is probably just sitting in Swamp Palace, and your hammer is just somewhere grody. So why not just get a crystal off the board, and then you just don't have to ever go back there. Okay, yeah, you really don't have very many better options than just fishing for a hammer and pod. Because no other item right now progresses the game. I guess flute does a little bit. But it's most likely that your next progression item is hammer, which puts you into Swamp Palace to get yet another progression item. And also, looking at the boxes on your tracker, you're last locating, so... This is not a position that any rando player ever wants to be in, and this is what you'll see a lot of rando players complaining about. Last locating anything, basically. I can tell exactly which screens you've put practice into and which ones that you haven't. It is glaringly obvious. You might as well have a neon sign that says I practice this room. And then turn it off when you haven't. So my point is that you need to practice every room. You're obviously not allergic to practice, but just loading up every single room in the prac hack and just doing it is boring. If you want to practice every single room, why not just play through the game? Just take the puzzle out of it. Gross hammer. Take the puzzle out of it, do the vanilla game or vanilla preset, and then you can practice all of the rooms at once. Now, there are some rooms in NMG that you won't go into that you need to know for rando, but that's probably fewer than 2 dozen. Gross flute. All right. Is this crystal? Yes. All right. Well, we have to finish it. So, if this is a pendant and I just got that flute, I'm out of here. But since we have to finish it, just go. So I definitely recommend playing a speedrun under the No Major Glitches preset, or under the No Major Glitches rule set. I think that would benefit you tremendously, because where you're losing time right now is just not being familiar with how rooms work, and just not having a plan for what to do in every room. And NMG is going to help you tremendously there. Because once you play through the entire game, like, say, 10 or so times, like, you're going to have a plan for every room. You're going to know how the entire game works, and then you can learn those couple rooms that you only see in rando. I've tried to be a little uh less. Oh, do not, first of all, do not touch those stairs ever. Definitely don't dash down them. Yeah, I've tried to be a little less insistent on that people run NMG this year, and I think I've only recommended it twice out of the dozen or so uh, video reviews. Learning the NMG speedrun, not necessarily even trying to get a good time, just learning how to do every room, I think will take legitimately about 20 minutes off of your time. And if you grind for a good time, you could probably take 30 minutes off of your time. Oh, so you do know Specky Clip. So why didn't you do it? Yeah, good call. You're Samaria Go right now, but I think I'm willing to gamble that it's just in Mire because you last located Hammer and Flute just also happened to be there. So I think you should just go to Mire here at because it's the first time possible. You've also died to bosses a couple times, so like you're pretty incredibly behind, and you need to start hope routing at this point. I don't even know if this I don't even know if this is race or not, but I'm saying from a racing standpoint, when you die to a boss, you really need to get super aggressive after that and hope that like your opponent either and hope that you can hit a jet and your opponent doesn't, uh, or that your opponent also dies somewhere. Yeah, this is too conservative. For how much you've died, this is way too conservative. You just need to go to Mire here. Killing me. You had the ability to Specky Clip this whole time, and you just walked past Swamp Palace like it required the hammer. Uh, so so here, this thing that you're doing, holding the wall, that's only useful in a couple rooms in Swamp Palace. One of them we skip because of Specky Clip. The other one we skip because of Diver Down. So holding this to despawn your shield is actually bad because A, it doesn't save time in vanilla, and B, fast ROM just makes this maneuver completely obsolete. So you should use that time that you're hitting this lever instead to make your way as far to the right as possible. So this one? Yes. Okay. So this water lever will wiggle 4 times before it locks into place. 1, 2, 3, 4, and it locks into place. All right, 1, 2, 3, 4, and you can get a little aggressive with. Like, if you do this optimally... I pulled out of it. I thought it was bad. If you do this optimally, you can actually get as far as, like... I think I've seen someone get here before the switch actually tripped. Because you're going out of this right-hand door anyway. And don't forget to hit the switch again. But, yeah, you're going out of that right-hand door anyway. So hanging out on this left side here is just incredibly slow, because then you have to retraverse, like I said before, you have to retread all this ground that you just came over here to do. Needed to hit that switch. Because now you can't hook over to the other side. So you're blocked. And NMG would just fix this immediately. If you knew the NMG speedrun, you would not have had that problem. Whereas, say, if you had, like, grinded a bunch of rando seeds, you may still have that problem. But that is an essential thing to do in NMG. All right. I don't know where you're going, and that scares me. Oh, you're going to Pyramid Fairy. Fine. But you have a clearable dungeon in Ice Palace. And you also have valuable overworld over in Mire area. Also, you left the bomb out here in Timbuktu. Alright. You definitely need to go to Mire area here. Reason being, your Samaria could just be right there, and then, you're done. There's something that people call hope routing, and that's basically just going to places that you hope your go mode item is in. So, what is the best place for your go mode item to be right now? Well, actually, it's inside Misery Mire. Because you have all 3 medallions, so you can get into Misery Mire, and you need to search for the big key anyway. So your biggest payoff right now is if your Cane of Samaria is inside of Misery Mire. Because then you can just enter the dungeon once, and then you can just clear it all in one go. Now, how likely is that? Well, you see all those green boxes on your tracker the same as I do. So it's pretty unlikely. But we can mitigate a little bit of that probability by saying, oh, well, there's 2 checks in Mireshed, and then there's 1 check in Checkerboard Cave also. So this isn't just the 2 item checks in Mire. This is 5 checks here. So while Pyramid Fairy is indeed faster than Mire for 2 checks, it's not faster than Fluting to Mireshed for 2 checks, and then you also get 3 on top of it. Nice. Yeah, farm as many of those free fairies as you want. Alright, gotta go to Mire here. Okay, good. Now, you haven't been playing this way, but if you can justify this Pyramid Fairy play as, I've died to bosses several times, I'm definitely behind, I'm taking the low percent play, then that's absolutely fine, actually. But since you haven't been playing that way until now, I'm just going to assume you just thought that Pyramid Fairy was the best play because it was deepest in logic. Which is not. You really need to go to your density there. Bonk? No? Can you get back through? Probably. Got like 3/4 of the portal there. You need to go inside of Misery Mire right now. You're 1 item from go mode. And if it's in that dungeon, then you're just done. You can do all this stuff afterwards. Yeah, fluting away to do 1 check in hammer pegs is just slow. You've already skipped it. You just need to assume it's nothing. Will you get burned by it? Abso-fucking-lutely you will. But over an infinite number of seeds, you will save more time hope routing, like going to where you hope things are, versus full clearing. Now, that doesn't mean that you shouldn't clear things along the way. What that means is, just go to where finding your go mode will pay you off the most. And if it doesn't work, well, you have all of these other options, which are gross and disgusting, and I hate them all. So right now I'm planning. I've already found Mire Big. I don't think we've found any items yet. But there are only 2 items in Mire, one of which can be helped by the boss. So right now I'm planning what's my next move if it's not here. And so we have Ice Palace and we have Spike Cave. Honestly, someone could have gone into Spike Palace, someone could have gone into Ice Palace a very, very long time ago at this point. You might as well just take this semi-quick like mountain ladder climb and just go down to Spike Cave before last locating Ice Palace. I know it sounds contradictory to what I was saying before, like go to your density, but you're one item from go mode. You don't want to play density when you're one from go. You want to play the quickest checks, and Ice Palace could be your quickest checks if something is in Pengator Room or it's in like what's the next check after Pengator Room? Yeah, pretty much if Samaria is in Pengator Room, then it's quicker than going up the Spike Cave. But if Samaria is not in Pengator Room, then going up the Spike Cave is faster. Because you have to go the long way through Ice Palace, and getting the second check in Ice Palace is incredibly slow. All right, I like the way you're routing this dungeon, by the way. Like, there's two items left. You're hoping that one of them is Samaria. Might as well just do the cutscene chest. Because cutscene chest can be anything when big key is in the compass chest. So, like, it can even be an item. So, all right, there's one item. There's two items. You're out of here. All right, I go to Spike Cave here. I don't blame you if you just go straight to ice. I only do Spike Cave because, it's someone could very easily have also last located Hammer and been up there already and just hated Spike Cave and just left it forever. And also, unless this is literally the Cane of Samaria right here, okay, then you made the correct choice there. Those that was actually just a coin flip. Well, kind of a D3 roll more than a coin flip, because just go. Nope, just go. I don't know what you're doing right now. Getting potions? Oh, you're setting up spooky. Okay. Probably not worth the reflute, but I'm not 100% sure on that. Okay. That's not how to do spooky. You have to shoot the spike, not the pots. Also, you didn't need to shoot the spike because you just entered the dungeon and you didn't hit a crystal switch, so. So, you've obviously learned how to do spooky. I would relearn how to do it. Like whichever way you learned how to do it, uh, do that again. Like if it was from a video, watch the video again, or just get someone to run you through it. Because I'm not saying that you don't know it, I'm just saying that you forgot it in a race setting or while you were playing a seed. And you for tricks like that, you need to know them to the point where you don't forget them in the middle of a seed. Okay, I don't know what that double short dash was, but opening GT with your sword out causes me physical pain, but only because I'm an NMG runner. It doesn't matter on fast ROM. Okay. Small, very small thing. If you're going to Hope Room, and if you do the normal, what's called Hope Left, so you go to Hope Room. If you find a small key, you go to Compass Room. Then you want to do the right chest first, and that's because you do the right chest, you do the left chest, and if you find your key, if you do the left chest second, now you're closer to this switch here. Doesn't apply here because you don't find a key, so you're just going to Stalfos Room anyway. But just something to keep in mind. Always, if you're doing the normal Hope Left strat, uh, you definitely want to do the right chest first. Okay. Oh. All right, I'm gonna let that slide. I see. You saw something you liked and you copied it. Very good. Nice rod. Okay, yeah, you actually want to be where are we at here? So you actually want to be flush against this wall. Because if you're flush against this wall, you can just dash past these pits. As long as you're not holding any directions. Like, if I'm holding my direction like I normally do when I'm dashing, then I'm gonna lose my dash because I'm in pit state. But if you let go of your direction, then you can dash all the way over to here, and then you can just hook shot up and bonk over. Yep. Good job. No notes except you should just lay the bomb, get the chest, and do the thing. But yeah, if you have powder, just always powder the guy. Oh, Hmm. So if you just go through this door transition and you don't press any buttons through the door transition, you can just dash right through. It's a free key dash. Okay. You don't need this key, so there's no reason to portal there. I don't know who's out there teaching these mimic strats, but they're incredibly slow and they lag your game even on fast ROM. So just get clear of this pipe, go all the way to the wall here, slash your sword down, and shoot the guy. Easy game. And if you have silvers, it's even easier, because you only have to shoot them once. Like that. I just got pinged and I want to answer. All right, cool. I also don't know. I also don't know why people do this room the way that they do. Like I've seen people like do this, and like this. You're just gonna always get hit here. And I don't know if people are saying like it doesn't matter how you do this room, because it absolutely matters how you do this room, and I'm gonna demonstrate right now. You don't have to get hit in this room. You just need to do it right. See, this is why I don't like when people say, oh, just watch someone and copy what you see, because, you know, doing stuff like this is just gonna lose you time and health. Oh, okay, cool. I might be onto something there. I'm gonna have to watch that back. I don't know how I skipped the spike cycle there. But there's also this option that you have. I never hit this. Nudged. So this is definitely harder to do than the arrow thing, but That's harder and slower than the arrow thing. But sometimes you just don't have the luxury of arrows after mimics, so. So you don't have to get hit in this room. Whoever says that this room doesn't matter is lying to you. Okay, fine, but I would have taken the recovery room there. Like, even though you have half magic, you're on like a quarter bar here, which is what, 4 fire rod shots, so that's not exactly where you want to be when you're starting climb. And you luck out with a full magic there, but it's fine. Oh yeah. So medallions are slow. The ether medallion, I believe, is the fastest at like something like 12 seconds. But oops. See, even with a bonk, I get 935. So I'm saving 3 seconds over somebody that uses ether in that room. And there are 5 rooms on the gauntlet. So somebody that uses ether in every room, I'm saving 15 seconds on them just because I know how to do these rooms and they don't. And sometimes it's even more. Like, that skeleton room was a disaster and it was 706, whereas if you had used ether, it would be 12 and change. So try to stay away from medallions. They're very, very slow. Also try to stay away from. This is another reason that I wanted you to do the recovery room. Not only because you were low on health, low on magic, but you were also like you were probably fine on health. But if you took a couple of hits, then you were gonna be less fine. And see, now this is gonna result in you powdering this fairy, and I guarantee you're gonna mess up the next room now. Not because you don't know how to do it, but because you don't know that what you do in this room affects land mode 2, because they're part of the same super tile. So once you transition the screen fully here, that starts the Landmo eruption timer. So Landmos are on a cycle. The first one starts first, the second one starts second, and the third one starts third. But if you are not in the Landmo 2 room, then the first Landmo 2 cannot spawn because you're not in that room. But his timer is still at 0. So he's going to sit with his timer at 0 while the second Landmo's timer is also ticking down. So that's going to cause. So while you're spending time in this room, that's going to cause both of these Landmos here to spawn at the same time because both of their timers were at 0 while you were in this previous room. So now they just spawn on the first possible frame, which now they will spawn together, and now that makes this boss harder. Now, if you need the fairy, you need the fairy. But avoid trying to get this fairy as much as possible. Avoid powdering the bunny beam pre-land mode 2 as much as possible because that makes you also lose time in land mode 2. You might as well just get the recovery room. Okay. Good job identifying that you didn't need the full magic. I usually have to yell at people. You have butter sword and silvers. What exactly are you looking for? Every chest that you open takes 2 seconds. There is nothing up here that can help you right now. So there's no reason to be opening these chests. Oh, I don't know what your plan was there, but yeah. I'm not gonna go on forever about Aga 2. If you want me to go on forever about Aga 2, DM me and we can spend an entire day in that room. Okay, so we're gonna slow this down to 1x because there's only a little bit of the seed left. But when you fall into Ganon, you don't want to go this far left. The reason being, if he teleports, if his first teleport is to this down left position, then you're going to be in his way and he's going to spawn early. And then you're going to either lose your chance at a 2 cycle or you're going to lose your chance at a 1-1. Okay, so you got away with it there. But if he went to this down left spot, then he would have spawned all the way up here and you would have been very sad about it. Okay. So you just gave up an entire hit cycle here. So right here, you should be looking to slash him again because 25% of the time you can just slash him from this position and he'll turn blue. Okay, and then you can actually get a double here because you're shooting him against the torch. So you get a free double here. But what you're doing instead, and this is a blue Ganon because he didn't warp. So you just gave up a double silver hit here in order to get torch glitch. And while torch glitch is all well and good, you didn't need it because you could have just gotten a double here and then when he warped here, now you light both torches and then you stop him right here and you get the second double and you're done. All right, this is why torch glitch is not good in Silver's fights. If you have silver arrows and you have tempered or gold sword, you should not be going for torch glitch ever. Ever, 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 ever. Because here, you're probably going to get a double, but you could have gotten this double. Uh, Sorry. Whoops. you could have gotten this same double here at 20039, and now you get torch glitch here, and then you get this same double at 20049. So you just spent 10 seconds getting a torch glitch that you didn't need. All right. I would also step down a little bit from there, because if you're holding the up direction from this point, and I think you're actually just far enough away that it doesn't matter, but I always give myself a tile of leeway here. There is a chance that if you're standing too close to this pit and holding the up direction, that while the bridge is spawning, you can fall. And this is also not where you stop your timer. You stop your timer on the first frame of this transition. So this is where you should have stopped your timer. Okay, so you stop your timer at 20216 and change on the timestamp. And you should have stopped it at 20227. Yeah, this is when you hit the race time done button when you hit the mosaic transition. If you hit the race time done button on sword up, your time will be maybe not necessarily disqualified, but it will be readjusted. And some TOs will just straight up disqualify you because you're expected to know that this is the rule. All right? Okay, so overall, the positives. You got a 201 on a Casboot seed where you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and all of TR. So your CR is probably around 160. This is, I'm not going to say this is as bad as it gets, but this was a pretty bad seed for you, and you still got a 201 on it. So while this is not as bad as it gets, it doesn't get much worse than this. All right? And you definitely made it a lot harder on yourself from different sequencing than like most people would have done, and that I would have done. So a lot of your stuff can be fixed by just being more familiar with the game and being more familiar with like how Link moves, where the safe dash lines are, stuff like that. And that's why I told you before that you could really, really benefit from doing an MG, because that's how you basically learn where all of that stuff is. And if you come to a screen where you don't know how to navigate it, then you can quickly figure out how to navigate it just because you've done similar things in the past. Okay, other positives. You stayed out of TR. When you're in Samara Go, that's not difficult to do, but you still stayed out of it. Stayed out of Ice Palace until until you needed to go there. Yeah, Pendant Ice Palace without Samaria, like I don't think anybody ever goes into Pendant Ice Palace looking for Samaria Go. So that's a pretty good if you're going to last locate, that's a pretty good place to do it because the meta will definitely reward you there. Um yeah, you finished Pendant Eastern when you were there even though you knew it was a pendant. Uh yeah, what else did we have? I mean, the thing is I see the potential. I see what can be here and I know you're willing to work for it. It's just frustrating to see all of the time losses and I look forward to your progress throughout this tournament. Um Familiarize yourself where your progression is or the where your density is. Uh so there was a point where you could have like you could have cleared this whole like south portion and gotten something like 13 checks done, but you decided to save and quit and follow an item instead. Um that's definitely a choice you can make, but there are times to do that and there are times to not do that. And really all I can say is that you'll learn that stuff through experience. You'll learn that stuff through playing more rando and picking the brains of mentors over 6 weeks and even beyond that. So most of the routing stuff I'm gonna say is fixable, and most of the execution stuff I'm gonna say is also fixable. I mean, every execution thing is fixable. Um, so I would I would get really familiar with at least Master Sword Moth, if not Fighter Sword. Um, and you didn't have the hammer at that point, so there's nothing really to help you. But I would really familiarize yourself with low percent moth because there are many situations in open and in Kaz boots where you can get a fire rod early, a fire rod and a sword early, and be able to clear moth right away and not have to go back there. Or not have to clear the front and go do something else and then go clear the back or something like that. So I think moth with the various swords should be first on your practice list. Um, and then the rest of the rooms, I really think that you could benefit from at least learning the speed run, even if you're not willing to stick with it and go fast with it. Like I said, I see the potential. I see you do these rooms correctly and I know it's because you practice them. You just need to practice every single other room to not lose time in it. All right. So this has gone on for a while now. Yeah, this is a really long one. But yeah, if you have any questions, feel free to DM me. And talk about it.